You know that feeling of chaos so many leaders are facing right now? That sense of constant, unpredictable change? Well, it has a name, VUCA. But here's the thing, we're not just here to talk about the problem. We're going to flip it on its head and turn it into an actual, actionable strategy for leading right through the storm. So let's dive in. So let's just start with the big question, right? The world is moving faster than ever. It's more unpredictable. So are the old ways of leading still going to cut it? I think we all know the answer. It's a clear no. It is absolutely time for a major upgrade to the leadership toolkit. All right, so before we jump into the solution, we've got to really understand the challenge. What exactly is this VUCA world that has everyone talking? Now, you might think VUCA is just another corporate buzzword, but it's actually been around for a while. It started back in the 80s with the U.S. Army War College. They needed a term to describe the world after the Cold War. It was just completely different. Then in the 2000s, it helped frame the incredibly volatile situations in Afghanistan and Iraq. Only after all that did it jump over to the business world to describe the crazy economic environment we're all in now. Okay, let's break this thing down, starting with V for volatility. This is all about the sheer speed and, honestly, the shock of change. Think about a social media crisis that just explodes out of nowhere, or a supply chain that gets completely disrupted overnight. That's volatility. It's sudden, it's unstable, and it hits you without any warning. Next up, we've got U for uncertainty. This is that nagging feeling that you just can't predict what's coming next. Why? Because what worked in the past, well, it's just not a reliable guide for the future anymore. All that data you trusted yesterday, it could be totally irrelevant tomorrow, which makes any kind of long-term planning a huge, huge challenge. Then there's C for complexity. This is where things get really messy. It refers to the massive web of interconnected parts in any given situation. You make one small decision over here, and it can create these huge ripple effects across the globe. There are no simple A causes B stories anymore. It's a dense, tangled web of factors all influencing each other. And finally, A for ambiguity. This is the haziness of it all, where the meaning of what's happening is completely unclear, even if you have all the information. You're facing something totally new, with no precedent to guide you. It's not just that you don't know the right answer, you might not even be sure what the right question is. So, there you have it. That's the original VUCA. And you know what? It's a pretty great description of the chaos. But here's the problem. A description is not a strategy. And that brings us to the crucial question. Why do we need to upgrade to VUCA 2.0? This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The original VUCA framework is fantastic at telling you you're in a storm. But it doesn't hand you a rudder. Just knowing the world is volatile doesn't help you lead your team on a Monday morning. We need tools to navigate, not just another weather report. Think about it like this. The original VUCA is like an old map that's covered in warnings. Here be dragons, danger, rocky shores. I mean, it's helpful for awareness, but it's not a guide. What leaders actually need is a compass, something that points them in the right direction no matter how treacherous the terrain gets. So let's turn to the solution. It's time to decode VUCA 2.0, a framework that's designed not just to describe the world, but to empower leaders to actually navigate it. And here it is. This is the crucial shift. We're keeping the acronym, but we are completely reframing it. We're moving from a passive description of the problem, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, to an active leadership response. Vision, understanding, courage, and adaptability. Now, this isn't just a new set of words. This is a playbook. Each one of these elements is an actionable counter to the forces of that old model. So let's break them down one by one. To counter volatility, you need vision. When the external world is unstable, a leader's job is to create internal stability. This means setting a crystal clear direction, a mission and values that act as an anchor for the organization, no matter how rough the seas get. So how do you fight uncertainty with understanding? Now, this isn't about trying to predict the future. It's about deeply understanding your organization's capabilities and, just as importantly, being open to diverse perspectives. By actively listening, you can spot opportunities and market shifts that others, trapped in their own echo chambers, are going to miss. The antidote to complexity is courage. With countless variables flying around, analysis paralysis is a constant threat. A modern leader must have the courage to make bold decisions without perfect information, because in today's world, playing it safe is often the biggest risk you can take. And to navigate ambiguity, that haziness we talked about, you need adaptability. When the future is foggy, those rigid 5-year plans are useless. The goal is to build flexible strategies and foster a culture that doesn't just survive change, but actually thrives on it. So we have our new compass: vision, understanding, courage, and adaptability. But what does putting it into practice actually look like? Ultimately, applying this is all about a mindset shift. It's the difference between being a victim of the VUCA world and being a leader in it. The old model leaves you feeling overwhelmed. This new one empowers you to take charge and use those same chaotic forces as a catalyst for growth. And this brings us to a final, critical question for every single leader out there. In an era of constant change, there are really only two paths. Are you building the vision, understanding, courage, and adaptability to thrive? Or are you at risk of being left behind? The choice is yours.